We're at Cannes Lion, where we're seeing the best of the best campaigns and the ideas unfolding every day on that grand stage. But that's the sunny side of advertising. There's also another side, and we are here to talk to Kate Scott Dawkins, who's a global president, business intelligence of WPP Media, about that side. Now, Kate, very interestingly, you've just revised the forecast, the growth forecast for 2025 to 6 from 7.7%. Tell us what really led to it and what were the factors that caused this.
Yeah, well, I think everyone will be aware that there's been a lot happening on the geopolitical stage recently, on the economic stage. We last produced our forecast in December, which is when we called for 7.7%. And I think for the most part, the large advertisers, they are maintaining plans for the year, maintaining budgets. But we did feel that the level of uncertainty in the marketplace right now, tariffs are on, tariffs are off, that does limit, how much businesses and consumers are willing to invest in the future. And so that led to a downgrade for the year, although still, mid-single digit growth.
You also spoke about how the content economy, and that's going to be contributing to a fair bit of the media spends this year. Tell us, elaborate on that, please.
Yeah, so content-driven advertising revenue is the largest category that we report on. It includes social channels as well as TV, audio, print, magazines, and newspapers. It's really important as a way for brands to benefit from the equity of the content that they're advertising against or within. And recently, over the last several years, we've been seeing a shift from primarily professionally produced content ad revenue towards user-generated platform ad revenue. And so this is the first year, by our estimate, that we will see primarily user-generated platforms and ad revenue on those platforms and for those companies outpace professionally produced content this year in terms of ad revenue. So we're continuing to see that decentralization of creation and content into these new types of platforms.
And to what extent will this revised forecast really impact India? Is that a silver lining for GroupM? I mean, now WPP Media, of course.
Yes. So India is one of our top 10 markets. It's the second fastest growing after Brazil of that set. And so I think very exciting there in terms of the population, the size of the population, the demographics of the young population, how much technology is already penetrating there, and such a facet of daily life. And so we are expecting continued growth there, high single digits in this case. And yeah, so I think them and Brazil, India and Brazil, the two fastest growing of the top 10.
I remember India is the only market amongst your top 5 which actually registered a growth of 5.5% growth, right? The last one.
No, we had, last year was a really bumper year. There were a few cyclical events happening at the same time. We had the Olympics, we had elections around the world, really. For our global forecast, typically we strip out U.S. political spending because it's such a big number. It's roughly the size of Australia in a major presidential election year, just political advertising in the U.S. So pretty much every market benefited from that in 2024. I think our revised figure for last year is 9.7%.
GroupM, of course, and it takes a little time getting used to the move from GroupM to WPP Media. Now, of course, WPP Media is, of course, the backbone of WPP. But of late, we've seen some big clients move, Mars and Coca-Cola in North America. What is the strategy going to be now? Is it going to be the focus on new media wins here on for the good part of the year?
Like what I do in terms of my work and my forecasting is really an industry look. And so we're looking at how categories like CPG are behaving as a whole. We know that they have really, I think, embraced some of the learnings from the COVID period in terms of what happens when input prices rise, when inflation rises worldwide, and they need to continue communicating with their customers in order to, I think, present a reason for continuing to buy that brand and have that brand loyalty. And so I expect even in a year like this with continued uncertainty, not new, unfortunately, for a lot of advertisers, they've been going through this for quite some time, but that they have a really renewed and strengthened sense of how important brand investment is in the current climate, just like it has been for the last several years.
Super. I remember I was reading, going through one of the speeches from Mark Reed back in India, and he spoke about how AI is one of the transformative forces, at every agency right now. Tell us, how is it really guiding the behavior and the decision making at WPP Media?
Look, I think advertising, and I've said this a lot, coming into this year, advertising was probably the most AI integrated of any industry, right? We've been incorporating things like natural language processing and machine learning and algorithms into our platforms and our tools like Google and Meta and within WPP as well for the better part of a decade. We are at a bit of an inflection point with things like ChatGPT and Gemini and all these now generative products, where I think that's going to be the next sort of set of innovation and things that clients and agencies are really looking at. The thing I think that's important is for us at this stage to make sure that we're being very conscientious about the ways that we are implementing AI, and especially the ways that we are creating incentives, right? To make sure that we maintain explainability and transparency and alignment between human benefit and human goals and what the AI is doing.
And this whole transformation from GroupM to WPP Media, of course, it's a long process. But with this integration happening, how are you going to see the roles of media agency heads from across agencies right now? Are they going to be repurposed? How will they fit into the new scheme of things at WPP Media?
Look, I think there's always and will be a requirement and a benefit for advertisers and our clients to have advisors in the space, to have people who really understand their business and care about their business. And a lot of what I do is to bring intelligence to our clients. And that as the world gets more complex in a lot of ways, as we potentially see deglobalization as a trend, that will only enhance the need, right? And I think for clients, whether they have mounds of first-party data or no first-party data, the kinds of tools and technologies that WPP are building are going to be really helpful and indeed crucial as we go forward as a way to transact on those in a fluid way, in a privacy-first way, which is increasingly important in every region around the globe.
Super. Thank you so much. Hope this transformation is a big success. And next year we talk again about how successful it was.
Yeah, that would be great. Thank you so much.